Thanks for getting on. So tonight we're going to talk about branding yourself and perfecting your post. So I'm going to kind of give a little bit of information about me and my story, and then we'll kind of dig into what you're all here for. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Cody Hickton. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a wife and a mother to 3, and this is my family in the picture here. I have been a coach for about 3 years, and I am the face behind Mama Fit Chick and the founder of my team, Team Infinite Fitness, who I love. I am a 2014 Premier Coach and trending to be a 2015 Elite Coach, which is super exciting. I've been in Success Club for the last, I think, 33 months. So that's just like a little bit about, my Beachbody background. So I'm just going to dig into my story, and I promise it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about tonight. So bear with me. So I was a young mom. I had my oldest daughter, my second year of college. I was only 20 when I had her, and I had my son 6 days after I graduated. So I went to a university close by, and I went for elementary education. Always wanted to be a teacher. Since I was in first grade, I had this great teacher who I, still keep in touch with, and that was just always what I wanted to be. So right after I graduated, I was lucky enough to get a long-term position in one of the #1 school districts in this area, and I was just ecstatic. But shortly after, that ended, and I did, some subbing here and there, but as a mom of 2 young kids, it's really hard to find a babysitter at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that didn't last very long. I went to several interviews, and in Western Pennsylvania, it's just really hard to get a teaching job. So, it was just kind of really discouraging. I'd go to one, and I just remember sitting in my car after, getting the call and just being devastated. Because that's all I ever wanted to do, was to be a teacher, to help people. That's what my goal was. So at this point in time, I had 2 young children. My husband was working for a company, and he was gone for days and weeks at a time. One summer, he was gone for 6 weeks straight. And I was lonely. I was depressed. I was anxious, and I was overweight. And I just remember thinking, like, there's got to be something more. There has to be something out there. And I did a few odd and end things here and there, and would just quit. I just felt like I was never really going to accomplish anything. And I never felt like I could really contribute to my family, to the income and things like that. So Beachbody came into my life, and not the perfect timing. And I kind of randomly fell into it. A girl that I went to college with was a friend of my coach, and I came across her before and after picture and kind of did some Facebook stalking and just kind of was intrigued. Her before and after picture was just incredible. So of course I messaged her and got a little bit of information, and I knew that my husband wasn't going to be really thrilled with a $160 purchase or whatever. So I borrowed my brother-in-law's P90X, and I bought Shakeology off of my coach. The next week she was going to Summit, and I saw those pictures, and I was just like, what is this? Like, I need to know more about, how this works. So messaged her, and I was like, okay, are you guys all, personal trainers, or, what is this? And she's like, no, anyone can be a coach. So of course, crazy Cody got another idea to start something else. And so I signed up. And initially I was like, okay, at least, if nothing else comes of it, I get the discount and, whatever. And I remember I talked to her and on the phone, my coach, Nikki, and I was like, listen, don't expect much out of me. I just came out of a sales job. I failed miserably. So, nothing's really going to come of this. So I kind of let myself fail before I even began. But, it was maybe a week or 2 in, and I had started following all these other coaches, and I was like, no, if they can do it, why can't I? I have the same tools, and I was just told myself, you're not quitting again. You're not going to start something and just quit and let this, be another failure. This is exactly what I needed. I did not want to put my kids in daycare, and I wasn't going to work just to pay for daycare. So the beginning of my journey was a little crazy. My family was, kind of on board and supportive, but my in-laws were horrendous. They would make fun of me. I would leave family parties crying. They'd make fun of me for working out, for drinking Shakeology, for having pizza, whatever. So I knew that with my posting, part of me didn't really care if I came off as annoying, but with my personality, I knew that I just didn't want to be that icky, salesy person on Facebook that kind of pushed people away. So I knew that I needed to really have like a purpose with my posting. So that's not to say that my posting from the get-go was perfect, because it was far from it. I still made mistakes, and I still do. But so I kind of want to just give you that that story of how I got started. So now we can kind of dig into branding. So let's see if I know how to change the slide here. Okay, there we go. So what is branding? So to me, branding is the window to your world, or like Lindsay Matway likes to say, it's your mini reality show. So branding is the way that you tell your story. It's who and what you are about. And typically it's very visual, especially because we use social media platforms to run our businesses. And you only have a few seconds to get someone to stop the scroll. We all hold our phones and we're just scrolling, and until something really catches our eye, we just continue on scrolling. So you really only have a few seconds to get someone to stop and look at your picture and read your post. So the importance of branding. You can't just throw a bunch of content on your Facebook page and call it a day. It's just not going to happen. You need to be real. You need to be genuine. You need to build trust. You need to be authentic to you, and you need to be reliable and consistent. And I know that I could talk about consistency in life or in this business for days on end, and I feel like I'm constantly talking about how important it is to be consistent. But it's so important with this business. So for example, everyone does, a Transformation Tuesday or Flex It Friday, and those are great because they're consistent. People know what they're getting from you. So something that I was doing for a really long time and kind of have fallen off because I'm trying to figure out some new things, but Transformation Tuesday, people know, they love transformations. I mean, who doesn't love a good before and after picture? Especially with all these hammer and chisel ones coming out today. Crazy. But another thing that I like to do was Extra Workout Wednesday, which was just a simple, quick workout that people could do as like an add-on to their programs that they do, or their gym routine or whatever. So that's something that's being consistent with your posting, but also being consistent with things that people get value from. So not only does branding give you a competitive edge and an advantage, because we're all not competing with one another. We're all here to help, but there's so many coaches and probably a lot in your area. So you need to help people figure out what makes you the right coach for them, or the right, the right team leader or whatever, whether they're, going to be a challenger or a coach. See here, I want to make sure I stay on the right slides. So what steps should you take to get your brand down and perfect your post? Sorry here. Okay, so do you ever go to someone's Facebook page or Instagram page and you're instantly like, oh my gosh, this girl is like my soul sister. I feel like I need her in my life. I feel like I've known her forever. Or you just have this like instant connection. And I know that happens for me, every once in a while. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know this person. And it's probably because they branded themselves really well. They really are good at putting themselves out there, and you have so many things that you can relate with them about. So, okay, so these are things to think about when you're posting. So what makes you you? What are your hobbies, your interests? And I know that may seem so, simple, but sometimes when I ask people that, like, they're like, oh, it's the same, health, fitness, maybe clean eating, but it's like, it has to be more than that. So look around your house. My office is like the perfect example of me in like a nutshell. Another thing to do, which I find is super helpful, is go to Pinterest. You have all these pins, all these boards that really just kind of encompass what you are, what you're all about. So for me, when I went to my Pinterest page, I tend to post a lot of teals and blues and beachy things, photography. I love organizing and decorating and cleaning. You know, obviously the obvious things, health and fitness. But you have to find those things that make you you. So narrow those things down. Another thing is think about the market that you're trying to reach. For me, my market is typically teachers, busy moms, stay-at-home moms, working moms. Another thing I like to do is use the memory jogger. I feel like we tend to forget all of these wonderful documents that Beachbody provides for us, but it's a great way to really narrow down your search. Sometimes I just kind of like go back through and really try to find, you know, people that I think would be the best fit for me and my team. So find out what that is and really try to narrow down your search. Okay. So another thing that you can do that I find super helpful is going back to old posts, ones that got a lot of traction, a lot of likes, a lot of comments, and also find out what times you post them, where you posted them, and you can kind of recreate posts from the ones that did really well. So this is, I'd say, one of my favorite posts. It got a lot of traction. And it was just relatable for people. It's just, you know, I don't have time, I make time. Everyone's making excuses about why they can't do an at-home workout program or why this won't work or why they don't have time. And it's just a kind of a creative way to show people that I'm just like you. You know, I'm a mom, I'm busy. I don't have, you know, a nanny or a chef or whatever. I'm just trying to make it work just like the rest of you. So this post for me was like, just like a light bulb. People really related to it. So I try to keep that in mind for other posts. So another thing that I like to do is backtrack. And something that I just recently started doing is really trying to talk to the former me when I'm posting. So this was just a kind of a simple before and after photo that really shows, you know, how much I really have changed. Sometimes I feel like when we're on this journey, we tend to forget, you know, how far we've really come. But sometimes I know, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, I sit here some days and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to post, and I don't want to post just something silly. And I really sit here and try to think about how I felt 3 years ago before Beachbody came into my life, and how I was lonely because I had kids a lot younger than a lot of my, you know, high school and college friends. So I didn't have a ton of friends with kids that wanted to like hang out. My husband was gone. I didn't have a ton of money to spend on a gym membership. So I had to try to talk to that me and what kind of things I would want to hear that would make me want to join a challenge group or join the coaching opportunity. So that's something that's really helped me lately, especially just is really trying to dig deep and think about what I would need to hear if this were 3 years ago. Trying to just stay with my slides here. Okay, so another great thing for branding yourself and really kind of getting posts down is giving value. And again, that may seem like such a simple concept, but when you're giving people something totally free, they start to build more of a trust with you, and they start to, you know, really think, okay, so this girl's helping me with something and she's giving it to me for totally free. So I don't know, it's just like they feel like, okay, they can trust you now, and then they're more inclined to purchase something from you later. So some really simple things that I like to do are giveaways on my like page typically. Free challenges. I know late today, especially, I wrote down in my little notebook a free crock pot challenge, and I keep seeing it pop up. I was like, oh my gosh, did I see that somewhere? Because like, are they reading my mind? But it's a great idea. Like, who doesn't love to just throw food in the crock pot and then it's done? So it's a great idea for a clean eating crock pot, 5, 7, 10-day group. This was one that we did, a free lunge challenge, and I can't see without getting super close and freaking everyone out. But it got like a decent amount of comments. A lot of people wanted to join because it's free. So instead of kind of doing like taking the traditional approach to marketing and trying to sell something, which can kind of be icky or obnoxious, or this is just a better way to, you're getting people to come to your page. So giveaways are something that I do to kind of drive traffic to my like page. And then, you kind of, then they're on your page, you're sharing your life, you're interacting and helping people, and then you're growing your community. So then when they're coming and they're interacting with you, make sure like they took time out of their busy day to comment on your post, whether it's just like, oh, wow, that looks fun, or I love your hat, or whatever it may be. So take time to, reply to their comment and try to interact with them. You're building relationships, and you're, really trying to grow your community so that these people, feel like a relationship or a friendship with you. And that's ultimately how we start to build these relationships where people, then want to purchase challenge packs or whatever. Another thing is freemiums. One of my coaches, I know we heard about this at Summit this year, but she, on her like page banner, it just has like a little thing, and click here, brings up the picture, and she has a link there. So anyone who goes to her like page and likes her page, they get like a 5-day, I think it was like clean eating guide or something. So again, free information that's super helpful to people. And again, you're building that relationship. So essentially these free followers are turning into customers, challengers, coaches. It may not happen right away. It's not going to happen overnight, but down the line, these people are probably going to end up wanting to join you. So, okay, this is another kind of non-traditional post, and I know probably a lot of you have seen, the whole McDonald's thing sitting out or whatever it may be. And this post had more meaning to it, not in the picture, but in the post itself. But, and I won't, read the whole thing to you, but this was sitting out at my chiropractor's office. And when I was sitting there waiting to be seen, it kind of just got me thinking. And a couple years ago, my son was having, some behavior issues, and his eating has been just horrendous since the day he was born. I mean, he hated baby food, and there was more years than I'd like to admit that he lived on chicken in nugget form only, and which was sometimes from McDonald's, or a lot of the time, and ramen noodles, which are like two of the like worst foods in the world. And I mean, I would try sometimes to just not give it to him. And it would be like day 7. And I'm like, listen, like the kid's got to eat, he's had water and some juice, like, and he would just go days on end. But point is, I put this out there, and I shared my story about how when we just kind of, said no more, you're not going to McDonald's, you're not eating nuggets, we're not buying ramen noodles. Slowly his attitude changed, and he started being a better listener, and just, it was like a complete 180. And I truly feel that it was because of his nutrition. So again, I'm just putting myself out there. I'm sharing things about my life. And I know there are probably other mothers out there who have children who are picky eaters, and every day is a struggle. So things like this are what you want to share, to just get people to relate to you, because we've all been, in these similar situations. Okay, so another huge thing that I try to get across to people is you want your posts to be visually appealing. And again, seems obvious, right? PicMonkey should be your best friend. To me, PicMonkey, I know, is a little bit more difficult to use than an app on your phone, but I feel like it just creates the best posts. You can really get creative, and it takes a little time to learn, but I really feel like it's worth it because, again, you have to stop the scroll. You have to get people to engage with your posts. So these are just 3 things, some recent posts that I pulled off my page that, got, a decent amount of traction. People were messaging me or were interested, and were visually appealing. So let's see here. So number 1, you don't want to post your link on your page, like your Beachbody website. I did this at the beginning, and again, it's kind of salesy. Most likely no one's just going to go to your link to order something, and you want them to talk to you first. Maybe they bought something in the past from Beachbody, and you're not even going to get credit. So you want to start forming those relationships. You want people to come to you, and you want to get that conversation going. So even though it's a little salesy and tacky to put the link or the sale price, even for that reason alone, you want them to come to you and talk. So don't post the links for your websites, and I don't recommend posting sale prices either. A lot of people post, another thing I see often, and I know I'm so guilty of it, Time Hop reminds me quite often, but just posting, a link or a picture for like Brazil Butt Lift, for example. I feel like Brazil Butt Lift is a completely overlooked program. It's one of my favorites. So I made this whole post about how I just feel like it's completely overlooked, and I could have just put a picture of Brazil Butt Lift up there, or, just with the price or whatever it may be. But that really probably wouldn't have gotten me very far. People don't even know what Brazil Butt Lift is, possibly. So I just posted, and again, my face isn't in it or anything. It wasn't my best post, but I had a lot of people interested. And it was just me doing some of the moves from Brazil Butt Lift. Again, secret sauce post. I had a lot of people messaging me about Shakeology, who, I talk about it all the time. I'm like, where have you been? But it was just a post about my secret sauce, and I could have just slapped up a picture of Shakeology, but people want to see you in it. They want to see your face. They want to see you doing the program or you drinking the shake. You can post pictures all day long of, just from Google or from wherever, but they want to see you. And then lastly, this post down here was for the beta group for the new app that Beachbody is coming out with. And I just think that this post was visually appealing. I was in it, which again, I think it's very important that you're in your posts a lot of the time. And it was a before and after picture of someone that had done the refresh, and then a little bit about it. Again, I had a lot of traction with this. A lot of people wanted to sign up for the 3-day refresh to get into the test group. Let's see here. Oh, so I also just wanted to say that I see sometimes I try to gauge if a post does better, obviously with a picture or just without. But I did look it up, and pictures on Facebook absolutely do better if there is a picture with your post rather than just text. So make sure that you're posting pictures with your posts. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so here is, this is simple again, but sometimes overlooked. And, maybe when you're first starting out, you don't know if you have, like an Instagram handle that you want to use. When I first started, it was just, I think like my name, Cody Hickton or something like that. And then when I kind of got the name for my blog and my like page, I kind of tied them all together. So you want to make sure that all of your social media platforms kind of jive. Easier for people to find you, easier, it just kind of, I feel like makes it more professional and really just ties your brand together. So this is just a picture of my like page and my Instagram. You also want to, have some good information in your bio, what you're about, what your brand is. Just short, sweet, to the point. I don't have anything in there about being a coach. I just have, mom, entrepreneur, wife, health and fitness fanatic. I run challenge groups. I actually changed this since I took this picture, but, short, sweet, to the point. Okay, another great idea, because we're always trying to think of new things, is recycling posts. So don't be afraid to go back to some of your favorite posts or some of the posts that really did well and reuse them. Maybe use a different picture, or kind of change the wording around. Sometimes with coach opportunity posts, I use a lot of the same wording, but switch up the picture. So don't be afraid. You have different followers on each of your platforms. So even if some people see it, again, who cares? It's good information, and you're trying to find coaches or challengers, and you're trying to help people. So recycle your posts. This, actually, I got this idea from the previous post I showed you, with the whole mom post. And this was kind of just a redone version about, I don't even remember. I can't see the words. I don't want to get too close. But point being, I just kind of took one post that did really well for me and kind of changed it around. And again, it did pretty well again. Sorry, I need a drink. My throat is killing me. Okay. So in this business, I know everyone hears about their why, and I don't know about you, but my why is pretty ever-changing. It may change a little bit here and there, and then some months I have something really big that I want to add on. And just like your why is that slightly ever-changing, your brand and your posting may change too. You're going to grow, things are going to change, and so those things may change, and don't be afraid of that change. For myself, I've recently been kind of analyzing all of my platforms, and I'm about to make kind of a big change. Not changing names or anything like that, but gonna kind of see what works. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go back to what I was doing. But I have a feeling that it's gonna be a pretty positive effect for my business. So hopefully maybe I can do another call in a few months and let you know how that goes. But if you do these things to build your brand, and I know they may seem super simple, but I really hope that they were helpful to you, you're going to be surprised at the opportunities that come to you, people that come to you, when you really just dial in what you're doing, because this is our main area of finding coaches and challengers. It's different from any other business. So can you imagine if it weren't for social media, how this business would really work? So point is, narrow down your interests and get your brand down. Get specific about what you truly care about, things that are most important to you. Be genuine, and just keep in mind that what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. So I just wanted to thank you all for getting on. I was super nervous, super nervous, and hopefully it helped someone. If I can stop the recording,